Hey y'all, hey, and welcome to another session of Meditations with Marigny. So, I've already did one video for today, but I thought that I would do another one right before I run in here and crack some heads on the pool table. And I was going to do this second video earlier today because of something that happened. And this is more of a serious statement. Like, you can't tell people what to do, but I want to just kind of inform people of how we need to be more cautious of like communal opportunities and situations. And so for those of you that follow my channel on a regular basis, I'm not going to say click like or share. Well, I will say click like and share this video if it resonates with you, or if you know somebody that you could share it with that you think it might be beneficial for. So today I went for a walk. I took a walk in between. I was working on a couple of reports and I was like, man, I just need to decompress. So I took a walk. And when I took the walk, I typically know where most of the dogs are located in my area. Like I walk enough that I know where most of the dogs are. Most of the homeowners, they know me. They kind of know that they might see me in the morning sometimes. Some know that they might see me in the afternoons. And others know that they might see me in the evenings, just depending on what the weather is like. And this particular day, today, there's a house where there's a really big dog. The dog is not aggressive, and I'm not afraid of dogs because I was raised around dogs and I've been around dogs. My brother used to breed dogs. Like that, dogs have been a big part of my life. However, I know that if a dog is ever spoofed, if it is, caught off guard or something of that sort, it can become aggressive, even if it's not an aggressive creature. So normally the guy is out there at the house. So, I speak to him, hey, how you doing? This, that, and the other. He'll get the dog. And most of the time he have him, if I'm not mistaken, he'd be on a leash with him or he'd be right there with him. This lady was out there with him today. And so when I saw the dog, I'm thinking, man, I'm too close to turn around because by the time I turn around, I'm going to have my back to him. And I didn't want to do that. And so I'm like, hello, hello, I'm just calling to her, hello. Um, and I'm like, I said, is your dog on a leash? And she's on the phone. And so she says, no, but he won't bite. So I want you to know that this dog is probably about, and I'm not over exaggerating because I don't know what breed that it is, but it's a huge dog. The dog is probably about 130 pounds. 130 pounds. It's about 4 to 5 feet long. If it stands up, it's tall enough to probably be a 5-foot person. So in other words, I know from what I know about dogs that if this dog were to get after me, just the weight of the dog alone, I can't compete with that. So I'm thinking, okay, and she gets on the phone and she starts telling whoever this is that she's talking to that the dog ain't gonna bite and people think that the dog gonna bother. Listen, let me talk to the people who have dogs. Let me talk to y'all. Some of y'all gonna get mad with me, you're gonna get upset. But I want to be very clear. If a dog has teeth, it will bite. I don't care if it's a little dog, if it's a big dog. If it has teeth, it will bite. And I have been around dogs long enough in my life that I have seen times where a good dog who normally would not be aggressive, something can happen and that dog will then turn because it is created and made to protect its owner. It is made to protect the people that is around it, the people that it loves. And so it just made me feel some kind of way, and I said to her, the dog may not bite. Perhaps it doesn't. But if it's spoofed, I know that it will. And, I kept on walking, but it really kind of frustrated me because as human beings, whether the dog bites or not, why would you not be respectful enough that if somebody is passing by that you feel like it's okay to then make that comment? Because at the end of the day, my brother got a little Pomeranian. I don't know, what is it, a Pomeranian or a Yorkie? And that dog, he done been feeding it for the past 10 years if they'd had it that long. He been feeding it, taking care of it and everything. And a couple of months ago, that dog bit my brother. And when it did, if it had not been for my sister-in-law and my niece, that dog probably would have took his last breath that day. Understand me when I say, because it made him just that mad. And the dog knew not to bite him. But dogs are interesting because they have some humanistic characteristics. And when it comes down to it, the dog had then got comfortable and the dog bit him because my brother was moving the dog out of a place where the dog didn't want to be moved from. He was sitting in a spot where is my brother's spot. And it's a boy dog. So, and I'm telling y'all that, if my brother tells this story, he's like, oh, he was finna lose his life that night. It was a bunch of choice words in there. Beep, 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 beep. You have to understand. And so I'm saying to those who own dogs, yes, this first part of the video is seriously talking about put a leash on your dog. But I want to flip it, and I want to, as you all know, I want to always take things and put them in a perspective of relationships. And I want to say to the men and to the ladies, put a leash on it. Sometimes you just need to put your dog up. Sometimes you need to just wrap it up. You need to shut it down. You would be surprised at the level of clarity that you would get from having the opportunity to think without having your dogs out. Yep, that's good right there. And so for many, you would be able to make better sound decisions if you did not have your dogs out. And I said dogs with an S just so I don't get flagged or, I'm not in any trouble. But if you put your dogs up and put them on a leash, you would be surprised that the pretty smile and the beautiful eyes and all those other components that come along with it, it will help you to think and make some better decisions. You would be able to see past the nasty personality. When I was playing pool last week, you guys, if you go back and you watch my video where I was talking about the guy who was trying to shake my hand, one of the things that he said to me, he said, "Is that smile permanent?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "You have been smiling like from the time I came in, from the time you started playing." And I said, well, I can't necessarily say that it's permanent, but I will say that it's consistent. And I will say to the ladies that oftentimes men say that we are not approachable because we don't smile. We don't give a opportunity for them to feel as though they could approach us. But men, I will say to you that sometimes you can't see past the smile, or you can't see past the negative movements, because you are attracted to the smile. Y'all be attracted to some other stuff, but I ain't gonna even get into that. We already know. But also just because you don't take the time to get to know her well enough before you take your dog off the leash. And if you would put your dog on a leash, just go to PetSmart and pick up one. Read between the lines. I like to play on words. Go pick up one. Separate some things. Take a moment and really, if you're seriously dating. Now, what I will say is that in this current environment, most people are not. And the average person is just out here kind of, y'all just free willy. And willy is free. So, but just for the sake of this video, I just want to tell you to put a leash on it. If you really want to vet someone for an opportunity for an extended period of time and possibly a lifetime, if that's really what you're desiring, put a leash on it. And when you do, you will find that you're able to, one, like just cut people out really early in the game. You probably won't even make it to a month. You just keep moving, turn it over and keep it going. And the thing is, sometimes we allow situations and circumstances to linger because we have allowed ourselves to enter into certain circumstances without a leash. And so you become tied to it. If you guys have been watching my videos, I've been doing a series this month called Tricks, Lies, and Soul Ties. And a lot of people, including myself, have been experienced with people where we had soul ties. It takes time to get that out of your system and to get a new mindset and to change your thinking and your thought process when it comes to people who you've been with and you were out there without a leash. And so just take some time to think about that. Think about how uncomfortable it made me. And I'm going back to the beginning of my story. Think about how uncomfortable it made me to have to feel like I might have needed to be concerned for being in the atmosphere with the dog. But also think about it from a relational standpoint of how you might need to put a leash on the dog. Take a step back and just look at things a little bit differently. See how she really operates. Watch how she talks to other people. How does she treat the waiter at the restaurant? Is she really kind to them? And I just wanted to come on. Really, I really did want to say something about people and their dogs because that really did bother me today. So this was a serious yet a fun yet a not so serious video for now. And if nothing else, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get on the table. And if I can, I'll update y'all and let y'all know how well I do tonight when I'm in here. All right, y'all have a good night. And if you like the video, I would love for you to click like. I'd love for you to share it with a friend, and I would love for you to subscribe. Bye.